Today you're going to be learning about information and how not all of it is accurate. I'm Steve, and this is TQA Weekly. This is the information access paradox. How having more access to information is supposed to make you more intelligent, more enlightened, make the world smaller, and allow us to know more about the world, the state of the world, and about the entire reality around us. What we expected from the internet is not what we got. Therefore, it is the information access paradox. Because we widely believed it would make us all more enlightened, we did not expect what happened in the last 10 years or so. One of the biggest reasons why we have issues with information and the validity of information is social media. By itself, social media is not harmful. However, too many people out there equate opinion as being fact. And this wrong idea about how your opinion is fact contributes to misinformation. So, with many groups on social media spreading misinformation, what they perceive as fact, even though it is just opinion, we get groups of people that are misinformed spreading misinformation, whether it is malicious or not. You have to remember that some people have gone through certain scenarios in which what they lived equates to what their opinion is, and for them it might be fact. However, that is not enough for it to be actually fact. And because social media engines tend to be in the millions and millions or even billions of users, it is extremely hard to fact check every single post. And therefore, you have to be taking every single post and comment with a grain of salt, because there is nothing that proves that what they're saying is in fact fact. The second biggest issue on the internet are websites. Being a web developer, it comes with a heavy heart to tell you that anybody can have one. And because of this, you can't take every website at its word, because anybody can open up a blog. And while blogs and news websites and information websites do have their place and they are extremely important, you have to figure out which ones are fact-based and which ones are opinion-based, and whether or not they fit with what they're trying to project. And that is a big problem, because you don't always have honesty or knowledge behind many of these posts. The third biggest issue on the internet are forums and online communities. Because these are pretty similar to social media and anybody can talk and many people still believe their opinion is fact, you get a lot of misinformation. Again, doesn't mean it's malicious, but it also means that they're not fact-checking themselves. So, this allows many people to just come into a group, start conversing, start talking about ideas, and not understanding that it's not necessarily good what they're talking about, and it's not necessarily right either. Now, pointing out all these problems is not enough. I need to direct you to one of the biggest issues, and that is yourself. A lot of us suffer from a search query bias. And that means that while you're looking up for information, your search query introduces the bias. What you're trying to find on the internet will bring up the very social media groups, websites, and online communities that you should be avoiding. Because if you are trying to figure out if something is true or not, and you introduce those words into the search query, you might inadvertently bring yourself to the wrong side. And if you end up believing it, then you are becoming part of those communities, whether you intended to or not. So what you would have to learn is how to search the internet properly. And the first thing you should be learning is how to exclude those biases by learning how to use different tools on the internet. So for a lot of you out there that know Google, there is a service called Google Scholar. you might want to try that one out because it's usually fact-checked from top to bottom. Another great place for you to start reading, scientific journals. If you can have access to scientific journals, read them. Learn how they are written and what to look for in each of these scientific journals. You'll be a lot more enlightened after that. And another tool you can use is Wikipedia, but I want you to go a step further. I don't want you to read necessarily just the article. It's a good starting point, but anybody can edit that. Start going to the sources and looking up what the sources are, because you'd be even more enlightened knowing where all that information comes from. And if you can figure out all of that information and get all the correct information, the next search query you make might be more enlightened and is going to be less likely to bring you to the wrong social media communities, wrong websites, and of course, wrong forums. Because it is possible that accessing the internet to become more enlightened might actually do the reverse for you. So learning to search the internet properly is an important thing to do when it comes to accessing information and facts, not just opinions. I hope you liked this episode, so like it, dislike it if you didn't, share with those who think can benefit from this, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions for topics, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com or go to my website, tqaweekly.com, where you can see show notes on this episode, past others, find other ways of subscribing, and of course, use the contact form to email me directly. And if you want to see me play video games, go to twitch.tv/zaxis1981, where I stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.